actually go forward with the short sale. But listing it is okay. Now, who's going to qualify for a short sale? You must show some kind of hardship. It can't just be spur of the moment, hey, I want to sell my house just because I don't want to live here anymore. You have to have some kind of hardship. Hardship examples would be unemployment, a decrease in your pay, your hours, your salary, the requirement to move out of state or even down, south for work. You can't live in the McHenry County, Lake County area anymore. Serious medical problems. I have a lot of people who have incurred serious health issues in the last year, and now their medical bills have skyrocketed and they can't afford their mortgage payments anymore. Loss of a spouse, divorce. Those are the pretty common areas that you see. The bank is going to primarily look at your financial ability to pay. So if you still have a positive cash flow and can still make your mortgage payments, most likely you're not going to qualify for a short sale. You need to have a negative cash flow or show them that you're going to be having a severe financial hardship in the future. Your mortgage company may require you to become delinquent on your mortgage payments. A majority of my short sales, probably about 90%, are already behind on their mortgage payments when they come to me and say, I'm going to sell my house short. They're already 2 or 3 months behind and realize that they're facing foreclosure and need to do a short sale. About probably 10 out of my 100 files right now are current on their payments, where they've said, they've drained their 401k and they're really pushing the envelope and they're making their mortgage payments and they're at the verge of stopping. Most likely your bank is going to require you to stop making your mortgage payments before you can even do a short sale. Because if you're current on your payments, they're going to say, well, you're current. Why should we even let you do a short sale? You obviously have the ability to pay. So usually I encourage people, contact your bank and find out if you need to be behind on your payments. A lot of people don't like to stop making their mortgage payments because they feel like, they're doing something horrible and they shouldn't be doing that. But a lot of the times you have to stop making your payments to even qualify for this program. Okay. If you're also going to qualify, a lot of people think that if a foreclosure is already started against them, they can't do a short sale. That's not true. If a foreclosure started and you've been served with your foreclosure paperwork, you can still do a short sale. You can do a short sale all the way up until the day your house is auctioned off. So say you get served with your paperwork today. From the day you are served, you typically have about 7 months to do a short sale. The process of a process of a foreclosure lasts about 7 months long. From the day judgment is entered against you in your foreclosure, you typically have about 4 more months. And what I'm talking about, that time frame, is from the time you serve until the time your house is auctioned off. And the auction means that the bank has now said, you're so far behind in your payments, you're not doing anything to rectify the situation, we're going to sell your house at a public sale. That is what an auction is. I had some people who even contacted me a week before their auction, and I said, hey, I've got an offer on this house, my house is going to be auctioned off in a week, can we do a short sale? Yes, you can do a short sale. It's very rushed, but I submit everything to the bank right away, and they go out and they'll look at the offer and they'll say, okay, this offer looks good. We'll postpone that auction date, and we'll give you another month or 2 to try to sell your house. All right. What is the procedure for a short sale? The key to doing a short sale is get your house listed with a realtor. The bank's not going to even entertain the idea of a short sale until you have your house listed and until you have somebody who wants to buy your property. So make sure you get that house on the market. We start submitting the short sale package as soon as you get an offer. So as soon as Mr. and Mrs. Smith say, hey, I want to buy your house, then you submit your short sale package to me and we get the ball rolling. The bank's going to review this package and they're going to make sure all the documents are complete and that you're not missing anything. And then they're going to order an appraisal on your house. They want to make sure that the offer that you've gotten is sufficient and it's not too low. And then once they get that appraisal back, they're going to do a financial analysis. And they're going to say, okay, the house appraised at $200,000, the offer is for $190,000, this person has a negative cash flow, is it best for us to do a short sale, or should we take our chances and let the house go into foreclosure and risk our chances in an auction? Most of the time they're going to do the short sale because they know at an auction that they're going to lose the butts. They're not going to make any money on this house. They're going to get a better offer when the house is listed with a realtor than when it's going through an auction or through the REO process. All right, let's see. Once you get your approval is going to be good for about 30 days. This whole process, though, ranges from 30 days sometimes to 6-7 months. It really depends on who your bank is that you're dealing with. But once you get your approval, you're good to go. That's when really the buyer side takes over, and then they have to get all their financing together. If you have more than one mortgage, you need to get approval from each mortgage company. It's not just the first, so if you've got a first mortgage and then a home emergency line of credit, you need to get approval from both of them. Other things to keep in mind are there any other liens against your property? Have you been sued by any credit card companies? Do you have water liens against your property? Homeowners association liens? Federal or state tax liens? Those things also need to be taken care of. A lot of people don't realize that they have those kinds of liens against their house until they go to sell it, and then I contact them and I say, hey, did you know that Discover Bank sued you and now there's a $5,000 lien against your house? And they're like, no, I have no idea. Those are things you need to keep in mind because you can't sell your house until you have clean title and everything's paid off. All right. What documents are needed for a short sale? Now, the stuff that I brought, there's a list in there that tells you everything that you're going to need. You need to provide 2 months worth of bank statements. Now, I get some people who come to me and their bank statements have like substantial amount of money in them. Like I had one guy come to me and had 120 grand in his bank account. And I asked him what happened, and he said he had just liquidated his business, and he put all of his money into his bank account. And I warned him, I said, we can submit the bank statements as is, and the bank's going to see that money, and they're going to want you to contribute to the short sale. And he took his chances, and he ended up having to bring 50 grand to closing. But in his opinion, it was worth it, because he discharged all of his debt from his mortgage and only had to bring $50,000. Other times I encourage people, if you have the time, try to relocate that money to possibly a CD or something, where because the bank's not going to ask for copies of CDs in your 401k, they're just going to want to see your primary checking and savings account. So if you have any substantial money, you're thinking about doing a short sale, you might want to try to relocate that or maybe use it to pay off some of your other debt. They're going to want 2 months worth of pay stubs. Now if you don't have pay stubs, they're going to be looking for Social Security statements, disability statements, unemployment statements. If you don't have any source of income whatsoever, you need to give them some kind of letter that says, I'm unemployed, I don't have any source of income. All right, they're going to want tax returns for the past 2 years in W-2s. So for right now, we're looking at 2008, 2009. If you haven't done your 2009s, they're going to want 2007 and 2008. They're going to want an authorization form. Now in the handout that I brought, there's an authorization form in there. Basically, this allows your realtor and your attorney to talk to the bank on your behalf so that we don't have to constantly call you and say, hey, can you call your bank and do this for me? This way I can call, and it's very limited authorization. It's only so I can talk to them about your mortgage and about your short sale. They're going to want a hardship letter. This has to be signed and dated by you. Now, a hardship letter explains to the bank why you need to do a short sale. It can be really simple, like I've seen some people do it in a couple sentences, or it can be really long, and I've seen some people do it in like 2 pages. Basically, the gist of it is you want to say why you need to do your short sale. And these banks, they're not sitting down and reading these things word for word for word. They're skimming it and looking for keywords like divorce, unemployment, death of my spouse, something to that effect, so that they can just zone in and say, okay, what's the reason they're doing the hardship? Let's limit it to 1 to 2 words. They're going to want your most recent monthly statement for each mortgage. It's more critical when you have 2 mortgages that I get this, because if your second mortgage is going to want to see what the payoff amount is to the first and vice versa. So if you have a monthly statement, make sure you include that in your short sale packet. They're going to want your listing agreement with your realtor to see that it's listed, see how much they listed it for, how long has it been listed. They're going to want some comps or a comparative market analysis, and this will come from your realtor. And it'll help the bank determine that the appraisal that they have is accurate. They're going to look at the comps from your neighborhood, see what else is selling, how much it's selling for. They're going to want the contract, obviously, showing that somebody's interested in buying your house. They're going to want something called a preliminary HUD, or a settlement statement, and I do that, so you don't have to worry about that. They're going to want a financial statement. Now, there's a generic financial statement in the packet that I brought. A financial statement is just a breakdown of your monthly debt to monthly income ratio. So like I said, you want to show them you have a negative cash flow. So in this financial statement, you include everything. You include, how much you pay for your haircut, your newspaper, food, gasoline, student loans, your car payment, every little thing that you have to pay for on a monthly basis that you don't even think about that you're spending money on. You want to include on this financial statement so that the bank can see where your money's going and they can see that you have a negative cash flow. If you've been served with your foreclosure complaint and summons, make sure you get a copy of that to me too. Some lenders are going to have specific financial packets that they want you to fill out for a short sale. So if you're thinking about doing a short sale, even though I'm giving you some information, call up your bank and tell them, hey, I'm thinking about doing a short sale. Can you send me your short sale packet? And they're going to send you a packet that's probably about 10 pages long. So you have all this really boring information that you're not going to want to read. But there should be a financial statement in there for you to complete.